Picture this scenario for a moment. You finally did it. After years of grinding, saving every penny and investing wisely, you have crossed that magical seven-figure threshold. Your net worth statement shows a number that starts with a 1 and has 6 beautiful zeros trailing behind it. You are officially a millionaire. Congratulations. You have joined an exclusive club that represents a tiny fraction of households worldwide. But here is the thing that nobody tells you about reaching your first $1 million. The moment you hit that milestone, everything changes. Not just your bank balance, but the entire landscape of financial risks you face. Suddenly, you are not just worried about making money anymore. You are worried about keeping it. And trust me, keeping wealth is an entirely different game with entirely different rules than building it. I have seen people work 30 years to build a fortune only to watch it disappear in 30 days because they forgot one simple truth. $1 million makes you a winner, but it also makes you a target. In today's world, a seven-figure account is like building a beautiful castle, but forgetting to install the front gate. If you are someone who is approaching that first million or has recently crossed it, you need a new playbook. Because the biggest threat to your wealth is not a market crash or a recession. The biggest threat is actually sitting in your chair right now. It is the psychological shift that happens when you see that number and start making decisions based on how you feel rather than what makes mathematical sense. When you were building your wealth, you were disciplined and focused. But the moment you hit the milestone, a strange thing happens in the human brain. You start thinking you have mastered the money game completely. You begin taking risks you never would have considered before. You might splurge on lifestyle upgrades or complex investments because, hey, you are a millionaire now. This is exactly where most first-generation millionaires make their first critical mistake. They confuse reaching a milestone with mastering wealth management. It is like thinking that finishing your first marathon means you are ready to compete in the Olympics. The skills that got you here are foundational, but protecting that wealth requires a completely different set of iron shields. Statistically, a significant percentage of people who come into substantial money lose it within just a few years. This is why we need to talk about real wealth protection. It is not about picking the next hot stock or hiding money in offshore accounts. Real wealth protection is about creating multiple layers of defense against the threats that want to erode your position. The first iron shield, and the one most people overlook, is building your professional team. You cannot manage $1 million the same way you manage 50,000. The stakes are higher, and the complexity increases exponentially. Did you know that 69% of millionaires work with a dedicated financial advisor? Wealthy people consider these professionals to be their most trusted source of advice. This is not a coincidence. When you have $1 million, a 1% mistake costs you $10,000. A good team consists of more than just an investment guy. You need a CPA who understands high net worth tax strategies, not just someone who files forms. You need a tax attorney who can structure your assets to be invisible to the wrong eyes. A good team helps you see the blind spots that you simply cannot see on your own. They provide the accountability you need during market volatility. They ensure that emotional decisions do not derail your carefully constructed legacy. Most importantly, they help you develop a plan that is custom-built for your specific family goals. The second iron shield is tax optimization. Once you reach the $1 million mark, you are likely in higher tax brackets than ever before. Your gains are taxed, your dividends are taxed, and your high income is under a microscope. In some states like California or New York, your total tax burden can easily exceed 50%. Without proactive planning, you are giving away a massive portion of your hard-earned wealth to the government. But here is the good news for 2025. The IRS has recently updated the rules, and you need to take advantage of them now. The annual gift tax exclusion has increased to $19,000 per person. This is a record high that allows a married couple to transfer $38,000 per year to each heir. By doing this, you are not just giving money, you are moving assets out of your future taxable estate. Furthermore, the standard deduction for 2025 has increased to $29,200 for married couples. For those who itemize, the SALT deduction limit has seen a massive temporary increase from $10,000 to $40,000. This provides a unique window to shield more of your income from federal taxes if you live in a high-tax state. We also have strategies like tax loss harvesting and the backdoor Roth IRA. For 2025, the contribution limit for a Roth IRA is $7,000, plus an extra $1,000 if you are over 50. These might seem like small numbers, but they are the bricks that build your tax-free fortress over time. The third iron shield is asset protection and legal defense. The moment you become a millionaire, you essentially paint a target on your back. In our litigious society, lawyers and creditors see your wealth as an opportunity. A simple fender bender in a parking lot could suddenly become $1 million lawsuit if they discover you have assets. This is why wealthy people become obsessed with asset protection. The foundation of the shield is umbrella insurance. For most people, an umbrella policy providing $1 million in extra coverage costs between $150 and $300 a year. That is less than $1 a day to protect everything you have worked 30 years to build. If you are worth $1 million and you do not have an umbrella policy, you are essentially gambling your entire net worth every time you drive your car. But sophisticated protection goes further than just insurance. It involves creating legal barriers like limited liability companies or asset protection trusts. If your assets are properly structured, they are legally separated from you as an individual. This means even if someone wins a judgment against you personally, they may find it impossible to seize the wealth held within those structures. The goal is to make pursuing your assets so complicated and expensive that no one wants to try. It is about being a difficult target, not an easy victim. The fourth iron shield is diversification 2.0. Many people reach their first million by taking concentrated risks, perhaps in a single company stock or a specific real estate market. But the strategy for keeping wealth is the exact opposite of the strategy for building it. Wealth accumulation requires concentration, but wealth preservation requires radical diversification. Self-made millionaires typically follow a disciplined formula: 80% global stocks and 20% bonds. They do not chase crypto trends or get-rich-quick schemes. They bet on the continued growth and productivity of the global economy. The goal is not to maximize returns every single year and beat the market. The goal is to ensure that no single market event can devastate your life. Remember the mathematics of loss. If you have $1 million and lose 40% in a crash, you are down to 600,000. To get back to that million, your remaining 600,000 must grow by 67%. That is the hidden trap of volatility. Millionaires focus on avoiding the large loss because they know how hard it is to climb back up the mountain. A steady, boring 10% return is far superior to a volatile 30% that could turn into a catastrophic loss. The fifth and final iron shield is estate planning. This is where you decide exactly what your legacy will look like and who will control it. As of 2025, the federal estate tax exemption is at a record high of $13.99 million per person. For married couples, that is nearly $28 million that can pass to heirs tax-free. But you must be extremely careful with your timing. There is a massive shift coming to the legal landscape. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, signed in July 2025, the exemption is scheduled to increase to $15 million in 2026. However, political winds are unpredictable, and these historically high limits are not guaranteed to last forever. Estate planning is about more than just avoiding the death tax. It is about making sure your wealth goes exactly where you want it, when you want it, and how you want it. Without a trust or a clear will, your $1 million could be tied up in probate courts for years. The government and the legal system could eat up 30% of your assets in administrative fees and costs. A revocable living trust keeps your financial affairs private and allows for a seamless transfer of control. An irrevocable trust can provide even more powerful protection from future lawsuits and estate taxes. The time to act on these strategies is now, while the 2025 rules provide a generous window of opportunity. Waiting even a year to set up these structures could cost your family hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes. Let us also consider the step-up in basis rule, which is a millionaire's best friend. When you pass assets to your heirs, the value is often reset to the current market price, potentially wiping out decades of capital gains taxes. Failing to plan for this simple rule is like throwing money into a fireplace. So let us recap the 5 iron shields that will protect your first million. Build your professional team of experts who specialize in wealth preservation. Optimize every tax advantage and deduction available under the new 2025 laws. Install asset protection barriers, starting with an umbrella insurance policy. Diversify your portfolio to protect against the sequence of returns risk. And finally, secure your legacy with a comprehensive and updated estate plan. These are the pillars that separate those who are temporarily rich from those who build lasting generational wealth. The choice is yours to make today. You worked incredibly hard to reach the seven-figure milestone. Now you must work just as hard to make sure you never have to earn it a second time. If you found this masterclass on wealth protection helpful, please hit that subscribe button. We are entering a volatile period for tax laws and global economic policy. I will be here every week to help you navigate these changes and keep your iron shield strong. Your future self will thank you for the decisions you make this afternoon. Thank you for watching, and here is to your long-term financial security and peace of mind.